You know what? It's pretty ironic thinking about sumo wrestling and that it being the national sport of Japan, based on the fact that a lot of people in Japan, as the general populace, are slim and very healthy, compared to the size of the sumo wrestlers you see on the professional scene. So clearly they are doing something drastically different to give them their weight and physique that they use to help win sumo wrestling matches. So today we're going to dive into the crazy world of sumo wrestling and the diet and exercise routine they take to achieve this shape. A diet which consists of 10,000 calories a day. Yep, that's not an extra zero added onto that, 10,000 a day. Hello! Welcome to Brain Spill, the laziest show on the internet. My name is Tank, and when you think of sumo wrestlers, you might think that to achieve this body type, all you need to do is sit there, do nothing, and eat a lot to get big. That is completely false. You would be sorely mistaken, because a sumo wrestler is actually incredibly disciplined, quite healthy, and also goes through a rigorous regime to maintain this physique. There is a lot more to the world of sumo wrestling than a lot of people first think. The average person has an average calorie intake of about 2,500 calories for an adult male and 2,000 calories for an adult female, but this does differ dependent on how active they are and what their general health is like, to determine if you were to gain or lose weight. For a sumo wrestler, diet is key, and that the training regime is admirable. They aren't eating fried food every day, and when you look at what sumo wrestlers actually do, I think you'll give them a lot more credit and respect than they normally would get. What I did was I scoured the internet for accounts and various articles on the matter to see what the day in the life of a sumo wrestler is like. And just to give you a top-down outline, a sumo wrestler will basically only have 2 meals in a day. They completely skip breakfast. Still think breakfast is the most important meal of the day? Well, not for these guys. The training begins in the morning with a long, grueling training session, which, as you might imagine from having just woken up, they do all of this on an empty stomach. I know people in the past have told me that exercising first thing in the morning before you eat is meant to be really good for you, something to do with your metabolism and basically the exercise and whatnot. But the prospect of me going for a rigorous exercise routine before I've even sat down and had my cereal, nah, that ain't for me, I'm afraid. I don't want to be retching thinking about me having my cornflakes. That's not a reality I want to live in. That alone already gives these sumo wrestlers my respect, but there's more to come. The training is intense too, pure physical training all intended to keep their form when sumo wrestling, such as grappling, pushing, shoving, and all that jazz. Yeah, just imagine waking up first thing in the morning and staring down this guy in the face. Nah, I'd rather just have a lion, thanks. So, you've done your 5 hours of training in the morning. Yes, 5 hours. You get up early and do some rigorous training to then reach lunchtime, and by that point, as I'm sure anyone would, you must be pretty hungry, and well earned after doing such a ruthless training. This is where the title of the video comes into it. This is the first of 2 meals in the day, and based on the amount of calories, you know it's going to be a hearty meal. Of course, these meals are going to have to be substantial to help maintain this figure and shape. I mean, 10,000 calories is a lot, so you'd think that most of it's going to be here. The main meal that a lot of sumo wrestlers have is a traditional Japanese dish called chanko nabe, a stew made up of vegetables, chicken, fish, meatballs, tofu, or all in one if you really wanted to. I mean, this seems to have everything you need in it. Why eat anything else when you have everything you need in this one broth? While healthy, of course, you're going to have it in generally quite a large quantity to reach the calorie amount that is being bounded about. Yes, as part of my research I was looking to see what the average calorie intake for a professional sumo wrestler is normally, and I saw a few different accounts. One site claiming that a sumo wrestler has 20,000 calories each day. As to how believable that is, I don't know, but that was on the higher end of things I saw. Then I saw another article quoting professional sumo wrestler, this guy, eating 4,000 calories a day, But if we are looking at the higher calorie counts of upwards of 10,000 for example, then this meal would tend to sit around the 5,000 calorie mark for lunchtime. If they want to top this up and reach that 5,000 calorie mark, then they can tuck into some classic rice as well, a staple food type which fills the gap in any diet. So they've been through a 5-hour training exercise and then go through a 5,000 calorie meal. So after all of that, the one thing you can only really do, and to be fair I do the same, is take a nap. Yes, after doing that much training and eating that much, this is really the only thing that you can or should do. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody needs their rest and recuperation. But not only that, this also helps add girth to the sumo wrestler after they've eaten such a volume and calorific meal that they normally have at lunchtime. And you know the saying, they say that you shouldn't exercise after eating, and that's entirely correct. And that is why they take themselves some time to let things calm a bit before the next meal in their day. A 4-hour nap helps the sumo wrestler with their metabolism. Everything is planned out. After this, they move straight into the next meal of the day when they wake up. What a life to live. This may vary depending on the preference of the wrestler. It could be a meal such as fried mackerel, udon noodles, rice for example, but the vast majority will stick to the proven recipe of morchanko. That's right, why fix what ain't broken? After sleeping off the lunch, they will dive into more of the good stuff. There are of course a number of variations to the recipe, meaning that they can have something slightly different every time, so they aren't going to grow bored and weary of eating the same meal every single day. And just by mixing this up, they can keep it fresh and interesting while still having a healthy meal filled with the good calories they need to keep their physique going. Yeah, that would be an absolutely terrible state of affairs where you were eating the same meal twice a day, nothing else, and hating it because you grew bored and tired and weary of the same food. That would sound like hell on earth. What's interesting as well is that sumo wrestlers tend not to have snacks, so there's not an instance of them sneaking a chocolate bar when they want. This is quite a strict and regimented diet to make sure that they are in tip-top fighting shape. And although they don't snack as such, what they do a lot, apparently, is drink beer, mainly because it's beer, but the empty calories in it also helps them with their size and development, which is perfect. And I can't think of many professional sports where drinking beer is actually good for you, aside from maybe darts. After they've had their second meal, they hit the hay. It's been a long day, doing their training, and then eating, and then sleeping, and then eating, and then going back to sleeping again. It is a long day, and I mean, after eating that much, who wouldn't be tired? There's not much point in them doing training at this time because they're just going to have to go to sleep and get up really early for their next 5-hour training session in the morning. They need the rest, and also again, the same principle applies where when they go to sleep after eating so much, this helps with the girth and the development and all the good stuff that comes with that. In particular, if you're a sumo wrestler. This lifestyle is generally very different from that of most people, and it's a little strange to be looking at this and thinking that someone would do this every single day. You might look at a sumo wrestler and see their size and physique and think that they're unhealthy. Although the fact of the matter is, yes, this is a lot of weight they've got on them, this is not fat that's deep inside of them, but this is weight that is just skin deep, meaning that a lot of it is on the outside. This is down to the fact that their diet is nutritious, and although they consume a large number of calories on a daily basis, there is little to no cholesterol, meaning that they get the physique they have. And although they are big in size, they are generally considered actually quite healthy. And in addition, this isn't all fat, there's actually a lot of muscle too. And as most people know, muscle weighs more than fat. So it's actually in their best interests to have the best of both. All of this is imperative to make sure that a sumo wrestler is in tip-top condition and are going to do everything they can to give themselves the edge when it comes down to their sumo wrestling. You know what, it might sound nice to have long periods in the day of eating and sleeping, but I don't think this is a life I'd want to live. In particular because of the fact that sumo wrestling is not a seasonal sport. This is year-round. This is a big commitment, especially if you have to make sacrifices such as really not being able to eat comfort foods that perhaps you like. So pizzas, chocolates, ice cream, none of that. And I think that's where a lot of this comes down to, because there's a perception from people that perhaps sumo wrestlers aren't healthy or that they're just destroying their bodies, but that's very far from the truth. I think the fact that because they're so disciplined and that they're so determined to get the physique they need, that they are revered in Japan. And, well, if they stick to the diet, they stick to the regime, they are going to put themselves in good contention to be the very best. The bottom line is, I don't think I could eat 10,000 calories a day, so for someone to still do that, that is an achievement in itself. If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to be notified as soon as I upload my next video, be sure to hit the bell button. And if you've got any ideas for what topics you'd like me to discuss next, let me know down in the comments below. As always, sources used in the video will be in the description. So, if you're going to take away anything from this video, it's this. If you're going to eat anything in your diet, make it chanko. It'll change your life. Trust me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Fantastic.